Hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you again to this week's incredible video series of showing the worst moments in Ethan Klein's pro-Israel propaganda video, which he called the content nuke against Hassan Piker. So now we're going to be covering Ethan Klein attempting to prove that the anti-genocide blockade carried out by the government of Yemen against Israeli and allied shipping in order to put pressure on them to stop their support and carrying out of a genocide. We're going to look at how badly he up his supposed rebuttal to that, his supposed proof that this blockade was terrible. Let's take a look at his incredible rebuttal here. Now, Ethan knows that if the ships that are being stopped by the Houthis are linked to Israel or its allies, then his argument here isn't going to hold up. So what he does is he just flashes like a Wikipedia excerpt on the screen, which of course he doesn't actually cite in any reasonable way. He doesn't even crop it properly. Like the word ship is just fucking cut off here. Great professional editing skills you got there, dude. But let's see his reading of this.
The next claim is that it's owned by an Israeli company. It's not. It's being chartered by a Japanese company, and the boat's owners are registered in the Isle of Man.
So let's take an actual look at what he just showed on the screen there. So, firstly, I am absolutely gobsmacked that Ethan Klein sees a company registered in the Isle of Man. He's like, yep, that's actually a company that's really from the Isle of Man. If you don't know, the Isle of Man is this small island. It's like a territory of Great Britain that has a population of 80,000. Now, I personally find it difficult to believe that a country with a population of 80,000 would actually have like a bunch of legitimate businesses there that are worth billions of dollars. You might find that a bit hard to believe as well. And the reason why this company is registered there is not because it's actually from the Isle of Man. Like, it's because the Isle of Man is a tax haven with no capital gains tax, no wealth tax, no stamp duty, no inheritance tax. And it even has a tax cap of only $200,000 per person. So that's why you have businesses registered in the Isle of Man. That's why the ship is flying the flag of the Isle of Man. And he also skips over the end here, right? So the company registered in the Isle of Man is called Galaxy Maritime Ltd, and they are the owners of the ship. And the beneficial owners of this company are Abraham Ungar and Yael Ungar. So Abraham Ungar is a billionaire Israeli businessman, and Yael Ungar is his wife. So this is an Israeli company registered in the Isle of Man for tax purposes, and Ethan Klein is trying to claim that it's really an Isle of Man company. Like, what would you even call something from the Isle of Man? Like Manish? Let's say that. Manish, you know, this island that's only known for having like a street motorcycle race where 10 people die per year. Yeah, that's definitely the real home of like this global shipping company owned by an Israeli millionaire, dude. It's obviously an Israeli ship, and the reason why he ignores this, he doesn't even give us the courtesy of dishonestly cutting that off. He just leaves it there and debunks himself. He just shows us the owners are Israeli on the screen. He just doesn't say it and hopes that you don't notice. It's insane. It's obviously an Israeli company registered in the Isle of Man. He then goes on to make more blatant factual errors.
I'd like to remind everybody that the crew that's kidnapped in this video has been missing for over a year now with zero updates on their health, whereabouts, or anything. That lines up with leftist values.
So he claims that the crew of the ship are missing. No one knows where they are. There's been no updates on their health or anything. This simply isn't true, because the International Committee of the Red Cross visited the crew twice. They took video and photos of them. They spoke to them. They verified that they are in good health. They knew precisely where they are. They knew precisely how they are. And literally weeks before this video was released, the crew was released as a result of the ceasefire between the Palestinian Hamas group and Israel and the US. No one in the crew was harmed. Everyone was unconditionally released with no demand for anything in return aside from the ceasefire. The crew was, as I said, visited multiple times by the International Committee of the Red Cross. Their well-being had been verified by international bodies multiple times. Ethan is just fucking lying. Like, this happened weeks before he released this video. And even before he started making this video, there's clear articles talking about them being visited multiple times by the Red Cross. Pictures of them when they were visited by the Red Cross. So Ethan Klein quite simply lied here multiple times in multiple ways. Lied about the ship being Israeli and lied about the treatment of the crew, lied about knowledge of their whereabouts, lied about basically everything, because he knows ultimately that you can't defend being against a blockade against an Israeli ship while Israel does genocide. You know, you can't defend that. So you just got to make a bunch of shit up. You just gotta pretend the ship wasn't Israeli. You just gotta pretend the crew was being mistreated. You just gotta imply that like no one even knows where they are. They could be dead when everyone knew precisely where they are the whole time and they were released literally the second that a ceasefire was agreed. Just another exemplar in Ethan Klein being a lying, moronic, lobotomized POS.